Hello, welcome back. As you can see from the screen, we're doing another PowerPoint. I've been living my life with the PowerPoints. That was a little whoa that you didn't see because, yeah. I'm sorry about the glasses as well. I don't know. That better. Sorry, that's what I get for having round anime glasses. Would also like to apologise as well because my cat is currently destroying the room behind me. But I digress. We'll carry on. She'll get tired in a second. She'll go away. So basically, I've seen a few people do this. Thought I'd put my 2 pence in, even though I've not watched their videos, to know if I'm putting 2 pences in or not. So this is the stuff that I'd like to see from The Sims in 2020 or beyond. A lot of it is stuff that I do not think they could now put on The Sims 4 just because of how old the game is, how it was originally set up, yada yada. There's stuff that they just cannot go back and sort, and I think, you know. But I also, at this point in my life, not confident that we're getting The Sims 5. I just don't think we are. I think it would have. I'm just not confident. Can't say why. Just not. So here's some things. I tried to be a bit more organised than the last one. So basically, I've split it to 4 categories. What I'd like to see improvement in: create a sim, build and buy, cast, build and buy. Like changes I'd like to see within like neighbourhood setups and stuff like that, and then gameplay. So there you go. Each slide, I've got some notes, so I'll go through them to explain them. Let's go. So we'll start with create a sim. So I'd like some improvement to the current hair, more hair included, plus an improvement to the colours and more colours added. Yes, they've come in and they've half sorted the skin tone situation out. I do know, obviously, that people with consoles are still having issues. And they're very cut and paste reply given. I know that there are people having issues with the blue, the black. Well, yeah, it's not some people. Everybody has, the same swatch. And it's that the black swatch is actually blue. Some people, for some reason, not bothered by it. Large majority of the people are. I am as well. It looks silly. And I just think they could do with a few more colours added. I don't know if... I think I'd like a similar system to how they have in The Sims 3, which for those that don't know, even without using the colour wheel, you were given, different shades. Quite a few different shades, actually. I want to say like 30, maybe 40. I can't remember how many there were. Quite a lot. And then from that, you could pick the root colour, the main hair colour, highlights and lowlights, and then the tip colour separately. So if you wanted your hair all the same colour, you could just have your hair all the same colour. But if you then wanted to customise it further, you could do. I'd like something like that coming. I think also it's a time that we bring in body hair. Body hair, I don't believe was in The Sims 2. It only came into The Sims 3 if you had generations. But it's something that people have. I'm not saying, we need to go below the belt. I'm just saying a bit of chest hair, back hair, arm hair. Makes sense. I think they also need to go back through and they need to update some of the clothing and some of the hairs. I don't know why I've put and hair again, like I haven't already mentioned it. Sims 4 turns 7 in 2021. But the clothes, as far as I was aware, weren't really, quite a lot of them weren't even stylish back in when the game came out in 2014. So we got no hope now. I just like a few more stuff in. Bear in mind, I should have said this at the start. All of this, I think, should be base game. So with the cast and build and buy and stuff like, and most of the gameplay, I think should be base game only. I don't think we should be paying for stuff like this. And I would also like some improvement to traits. And I would like all the different age ranges to be able to have more traits. I think it's very restrictive that your Sims as an adult can only have 3 traits because it doesn't leave a lot for interpretation. I know they then put the sentiment stuff in, but 2 people who have the same traits still wouldn't react to things the same way. So In The Sims 3, adults had 5 traits, teens had 4, children had 3, and then I believe the children's one, though, if they were brought up badly, they only got 2, but if they were brought up well, they got 3, and then toddlers and babies got 2. That's it. Babies had traits. And there were more traits overall to pick from. The Sims 3 had 99 traits that you could pick from Create a Sim if you owned all of the packs. So if you're one of the blessed that even I didn't own all of the packs for Sims 3 because I was on a 2001 HP laptop, I think. But with The Sims 4, if you own all of the packs, you only get 54 to pick from in CAS. That does exclude, obviously, the ones that you gain throughout the game and the bonus traits and stuff like that. And I would also like to see a return of the Zodiac system from The Sims 2, along with turn off and turns on, because I think overall that would make Sims so much more individual. And going back to what I was just saying, you could have 2 Sims who, like in real life, say, I could have a friend or my husband, for example. We're very similar. We like similar things. We would share similar traits, you might say. But we would react to things separately. And the Zodiac system could be that. So here's a Taurus. I'm a Cancer. I'm going to cry. That's just how it is. And I think it would really help. Plus the turn on and turns off. I don't mind that The Sims and The Sims 4 would pretty much go for everybody and anything. That really doesn't bother me. But I think the turn on and turns off would help a lot with what I've been seeing online, where people are like, I'd really love some unrequited relationships. So you could essentially, with the turn off and turn off, had that. Because you could have one Sim, say their neighbour was fitted all their turn-ons, but they didn't match with what they were like the turn-offs for their neighbour. But so it would help. It would help, in my opinion. And then I would like more relationship options in CAS. Not just in CAS, but I'll go into that a bit later. I would like to be able to do, room. I think at the moment you can do roommate, like as an adult, roommate, sibling, or married to. But I would also like to put engaged, just partner. I would like you to be able to make cousins, aunt and uncles, or grandparents. The simple way that you could get around that on things like the family tree is just have a blocked square in between them. So say if you made a child and a grandparent, you have the grandparent, then just a grey square, and then the child. It can be, you know what I mean? It's not that deep. But I'd still like it to be able to made. It would improve the game a lot. And that's when we move on to build and buy. Build and buy. Let me just scroll down on my notice. Build and buy. I would like, same with CAS, I would like an update to the existing stuff that we have in the game, to both the build and the buy options. I find myself using the same things over and over and over again, and I imagine other builders do, and it's because the item itself might be nice, but the swatch is not. And there's no nice swatches, and they don't really match with anything else, and and I think they should go around and resize some of the objects. Why are some things so big? Like, I know with dolls' houses, you can resize them to smaller and they still work. However, I don't believe consoles people have that option, and I know that with some things that doesn't work. So, like, I think base game, there isn't a small TV that goes onto the wall. I think the only one that's small comes with Back to Work. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's it, for example. So I'd like an update, and I would also like them to add in more real life things. So it's well and good them doing these packs and them adding in more of things we already have, or this weather machine or a candle making thing. But what about corner sofas? What about kettles? What about normal size and realistic play equipment for children? Like what do kids have? The swings, which I'm not even confident are base game. I think they're Seasons and Island Living. They have the monkey bars, cool. And then they have 2 jungle gyms. One's space themed and one's pirate themed. Why can't we just have a normal jungle gym? Like, there are thousands. I googled it when I was doing the presentation because I wanted to find the ones from The Sims 3 to make sure I wasn't going mad, and I wanted to check what was in The Sims 2, and all Google came up with was Sims 4 CAS ones. Not CAS ones, CC. So they are there. They can be made. Why can't the Sims team do it? Give me a normal jungle gym. Give me a slide, at least, for Christ's sake, that's not for toddlers. And sort something out. Make like a little jungle gym for toddlers, because the ball pit and the big thing, that's something you'd have in the back of your house. It's not something you'd have in your garden. I'm just saying. And they could also use the opportunity to bring in things like play mats for babies. So you could take the baby out of its cot and put it on the play mat on the floor, and it will like play with the little things, and it'd be really cute. And, you know, maybe that's when your baby could learn to roll, because we could give babies something to do. Roll. You know, they could, you know. And then tree houses, bunker bed, a normal telescope. Like, you get what I'm talking about. It's there. And also, go through and reprice some things. Why is toilet paper 50 simoleons? A poor Sim's not allowed to wipe. It's classist, if you ask me. Just sort yourself out. And then I also want spiral staircases and cars. Now, I do go more into an open world thing in my neighbourhoods, which is coming next. But cars work in a closed or open neighbourhood. Are they more fun in an open neighbourhood? Yes, of course they are. They're more fun. But they do work, and anyone that says they don't hasn't played The Sims 2. And I think with that, you could bring things in, like in The Sims 2, you were able to buy a car that you can repair and sell. So you do it up and you repair it and you sell it. I would like that as well. And spiral staircases, just why not? I just want them. So, neighbourhoods. Hear me out. This is something that I think should come with Sims 5. Closed worlds. To me, it really ruins the fantasy or the illusion when I'm in, say, Willow Creek, and there's one of the Sims from Sulani just banging around in the middle of winter in their coconut bra. I just don't think it works. So I think they should only be able to visit another world if there is either a vacation lot, like a rental or vacation lot in that world, or they have family in that world. So you could move households between worlds, i.e. they could move their residents. So you could have somebody who grew up in Willow Creek, but they want to live in Oasis Springs. That's cool. And then they could visit each other there. But I don't like the whole whatever. So you could get neighbouring worlds. Obviously, I wouldn't put it on vacation worlds. Anybody can go vacation world, because anybody can go on vacation to anywhere they want. And I think you could also neighbour up worlds. So say, in my brain, I don't know whether it's ever been confirmed, like San Myshuno is the city that Newcrest is next to, and Newcrest is by Willow Creek. So the three are connected, so that makes sense. You could have Oasis Springs, and you could have Strangerville, not that far from each other. Like, realistically, you could drive between them. You could have Evergreen Harbour and Rendlesham Bay, because they're both on the coast. They could be just down the coast from each other. You could have then the University World, I can't remember what it's called, I'm sorry, that could be connected to also to San Myshuno, because then it's the, you know what I mean? I also wouldn't do for the anything like a university. Once again, anybody from any world can go to any university they want. So there you go. That is what I mean by that. But to compensate having the closed worlds, yes, they should bring back semi-open or open neighbourhoods. So within the neighbourhood, you can go anywhere, you can see anything, just to make it a bit more fun. You know what I mean? And I would also like them to bring back customisable neighbourhoods. Maybe not to the extent it was in The Sims 3, because maybe it was me and my childhood brain, but I always felt it quite overwhelming. I'm just not creative enough. And I do like, in The Sims 4, when you load a lot down, it does have all the decorations, and it does have like the lake and everything around it. So even if it's just to change the lot size or placement, so say if you had in Newcastle, for example, you've got the two small lots that are very close to each other. I can't remember what they're called, but they're run by like a canal. You could take those both out and you could replace it with one big lot. So you could put one big house there if you wanted. Something like that, just to give people, a bit more. And I want more vacation worlds, but them to be more holiday themed. So maybe something like a theme park. I think Batu really, even though people don't like it, it really showed what they could do. And so you could have Batu, maybe this would be the chance to bring in hotels only in these vacation worlds if, you wanted to. And I would also like something like a seaside world. I mean that in the concept of a British seaside world, because that's what I'm used to growing up with, where you would go to the beach, to the seaside, and there would be fun fairs, and you'd have the pier, and there'd be little cafes and restaurants and stuff like that, and you could stay in like a little chalet or a cottage and something like that. I would like that, because not everybody wants to go to the jungle or to the woods or anything like that for their holidays. Some people like adventure. And I think they should bring back the ability to make apartments for us. Can't remember The Sims 3 because I didn't really play it and I didn't have all the packs, so I don't know if it's something that came in a pack that I didn't have. But in The Sims 2, I believe apartments came with nightlife. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And basically what you could do is you could build an apartment block, and then you would use a certain door. So basically then a sim would go up to the door, they would claim that apartment as their own, and then nobody else could access that apartment. It became like a separate dwelling. Where obviously now, and this has only been a thing with them bringing in the roommates option, you can do it, but you have to ask people to be your roommate, you have to lock the doors, it's very faffy, it's a bit silly. Where they could just bring in apartment, like the ability for us to make apartments, and it would just make the thing, a bit better. I would like that. And then now we move on to gameplay. This is it. I would like a return to the memory system. I personally prefer the Sims 2 memory system to the one in the Sims 3, because I think the Sims 3, they try to kind of copy into the Sims 4, where you take a photo and it goes into like a scrapbook. But in the Sims 2, there was just a thing on the information panel that was memories, and you could go through and you could look at all the memories and it had like a little icon for each one. I prefer that. I would also like a Sims 3 style customizable to age and season length. And I know in the Sims 4, we can semi-do that. With your age ranges, you can go short, normal or long, and with seasons you can go 7, 14 and 28 days, I believe. Where in the Sims 3, for those that don't know, it was fully, you could go, okay, so baby age is 2 days, toddler age is 5 days, children's age is however many days. You had the options, you can make an age length as long as you wanted. Same with seasons, you weren't restricted to like 7, 14, 28. It was, you could pick any day between this and this. I think it was up to 28 days as well. So you could make your winters a lot longer than your autumns and your spring and stuff. I just prefer that. Obviously, I would like a return back to some kind of normal lore with Sim backstories. Like, it's not hard. That's the problem. When you're putting in Sims like the Goths and the Calientes and the Landgrabs, you've got the story there. Just like continue it. It's not that difficult, I don't think. But no. So the next Sim, this will obviously be a Sims 5 situation. Just bring it back. Just do us the favour and bring it back. And I would like some kind of NPC story progression to go around us. And I think I would like there to be some ability that NPCs, do as they do in The Sims 4, where they age up around you, but also to get married and have kids and the world to kind of progress in the background. Obviously, there could be the option to turn it on and off. That's not everybody's jam, whatever. But that's why I play with mods that allow that, because I like the world around me to carry on. I don't like the thought that the Goth family just died out because both Cassandra and and Alexander didn't get married, even though Alexander never gets married, even with my mods. And like the Malcolm Landgrab, so he never got married and he never had children, or he just And I would like to see an update to the jobs as well. So you see NPCs, and it always bothers me. You see NPCs, and they're doing these jobs, and I want my Sims to be able to do those jobs, even if it's boring, mundane jobs, like the yoga teacher in whatever the pack was, spa day, and food stalls. And I want my Sim to be a postman. I want my Sim to be a postal worker. I want them to get a job and go and deliver post. And you could potentially, if you had another family, go and work with them. I would like them to become a postman. I'd like them to become a firefighter, a repo person, whatever. I would like it, say, if they brought back police officers and burglars, and I would like it, say, if in my 100 baby challenge, I had one of my kids become a police officer, and then he moves out the house, so he's nothing to do with me. But then I get burgled, and he turns up and he sorts out my crime. I would really like that. And I want more distinguishable life stages. Not every elderly person in real life is hunched over with their titties on the floor. And I want the game to emulate that. It does bother me a bit that they come to adult, they age up, and all of a sudden they can't do anything, and they're like, it bothers me. And obviously the teen situation bothers everybody. I want teens that look like teens. I don't want teens to be little adults that go to school and get told off if they go over curfew. And I think it would help with, I personally wouldn't mind like if they brought in a tween age stage. But I think a way that I could get around this is if maybe you had little aging within the age groups. So a child who was recently aged up from a toddler, they are more childlike than a child who is a day away from becoming a teen. They can do, like the older child could do more, like they would be expected to help out more around the house, or they would be given more responsibility, or they would be interested in a slightly different kind of play. So whereas obviously a younger child might be more interested in playing with like a doll's house and this, that and the other, an older child might not. And same with teens. So a teen that has just aged up from a child, they might be able to do less. So they couldn't go and fix my sink for me like a teen magically can, and they couldn't cook for themselves on the oven, but at some point in the progression they can do that. They can start learning those skills, and by the time they're then a young adult, they can do everything pretty much that a young adult can. They're just smaller and they have to go to school. And I want you to be able to run a business from home. My ideal fantasy for The Sims 4 is that I can make a bakery with an improved cupcake maker. I would like to point out that's not 20 foot long, and then live above it. That's and I know there's a mod for it, but we shouldn't have to keep relying on mods to do what we want to do. We shouldn't have to. It excludes console players, excludes people with lower end PCs that can't handle mods. Just love to mod. Continue on with the gameplay. I do want a return of Family Generations gameplay. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but that's my gameplay. It's what I find enjoyable, and that's what I want. I would like some kind of education update in the terms of I would like there to be more options of schooling. So at the moment, all your Sims go to a public school, but I would also like to bring back private schools. Homeschooling would be cool. So either like one of the adults in the household, so a parent, grandparent, or guardian could teach them, and you have to do so many. It could be like when you have like a job that you have to do and you work from home that day and it gives you tasks. It could be like that. So the children have to do certain tasks every day and stuff like that, and then or you could be able to pay somebody to come in and tutor them every day. And then I would also like specialist schools to say when you have a young child, if they meet their aspirations, so say you've got one that's creativity aspiration, they fulfill the aspiration while they're a child, they could then be invited to join like an art school or something, like a sports college or something like that. So when they're a teen, they then go off and do a different schooling. And then in The Sims 3, you used to be able to do school and field trips. I'd like that to come back. I don't mind if things like this are rabbit holes, I'm not saying I want to go to school with my kids. I didn't like school in real life. I don't want to go to school with them, but I would like more for them that helps them, that makes it feel like they're living a life. And also more after school activities. I know they have brought some in, but I think they're all generations or other pack centred. So I think you have to have generations to be able to do the after school activities. And then I believe Get Famous brought in the drama club. And that's it. You've got like Scouts or drama club. Bit shit. More social events as well. So school dances or school discos, like I think everybody growing up, most places, like it's a really common thing in the UK, or at least it was when I was a kid, that at the end of every school year or at Christmas, you had a school disco and they kitted out the hall and you went to a school disco. I would also like there to be proms. That'd be so cute. Once again, even if it's just a rabbit hole, like you could, when they go into prom, they could have a prom date. You could get people asking them to go to prom, or they could organise something within their friendship group. And so they all come to the house and take pictures and then they go away in their limo. That'd be really cute. High school graduation, once again, even if it's exactly the same as graduation is for university, it's just a rabbit hole. Fine, I'm not bothered. Just I would like it because it's cute. Teen house parties, where obviously they can only invite teens. That'd be really cool. Bachelor and bachelorette parties. This is something that came in with The Sims 3, and they brought in the entertainer option, which was basically a stripper. I'm not bothered whether you bring that in. Just let them have the bachelor and bachelorette party. It'd be funny. And then slumber parties, where they used to come with their little rolled up sleeping bag and they used to all get them home, and it was so cute. I'd love that. And yeah, I would like more of the stuff from Sims 3 generations brought in. You used to be able to say, if you were a sim, you could go to your partner's parents and ask for their permission to propose. That's cute. Teens could learn how to drive. Prams and strollers for toddlers and babies. Once again, giving babies something to do. You could pop them in, even if you just went around the neighbourhood, because obviously in The Sims 4 we can see the general neighbourhood and we can follow them. Just let them do that. That's fine. Pillow fights, imaginary friends, the police, they would have to bring the police in, could come and they'd break up wild parties, or it would add more to the curfew thing that came in Parenthood, where obviously at the moment if they go out and they reach, my teens always manage to sneak back in. I have to purposely make them get in trouble to help me, like, because their parents never catch them. But the policing would be cool, and you could also have midlife crisis. I think that'd be really cool as well. So, and then bring back the daycare profession, because I think that's utter the chaos that we need. Chaos. Absolute. So people, from within the neighbourhoods, toddlers and babies, they could be brought to your home, or you could own and run a daycare similar to like the restaurant or shop system, where you go and you care for the babies and then you go away. Even if they made it more like the scientist or acting career or something like that, so you would have to go every day at a certain time, do what you had to do and then leave. Do it. Like, you fine. But I would love to see it. And I would like the game to recognise more of extended family relationships. At the moment, and I believe it's a very similar, people seem to forget that it is a similar system to what is in The Sims 3. So at the moment, it only recognises like great-grandparents, parents, aunts and uncles, first cousins, and then siblings or half-siblings, and step-parents and siblings. That's it. I would like it to extend further out than that. Just because why not? Some people are incredibly close to their step families, so they would consider their step parents, aunt and uncle, like brothers and sisters, to be aunt and uncles, and to those step parents, parents to be their grandparents. And I think it would add a lot more into the game, and it would make things just a lot nicer. And there you go. That's the end. That's what I would like to see in 2021 or beyond. Potentially The Sims 5 if we ever get it from The Sims. Tell me what you would like to see. Leave a little comment. Let's have a discussion. I understand obviously not everybody's gameplay is the same, so there'll be people, and somebody else could make a list and their things would be totally different from this. But as a life simulation game, I think first and foremost The Sims should imitate life. And then you can add on the things like the occults and all of that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this wasn't too rambly and you got something from it and it's opened up a bit of a discussion, and I will see you all in my next video. Please like, subscribe, and I love you. Bye guys.